All right. Okay, cool. So it's working. Okay, so crazy day. Crazy stinking day. So I started off coming home a little bit early so that I could get in and help with I was getting a new dryer, new appliance at home, and it was just a pain in the butt. Let me see. I'm gonna log into Restream so that I can see chat. You gotta be kidding me. That's better. It's like there's this streaming service that I use called Restream, and it brings in pretty much any streaming service that I want to be able to stream to. And I don't stream to a ton, but I do find it useful to be able to go in and say, oh, come on, you know, stream to multiple places, right? So let's see, copy. Let's actually do this from the ZBrush Live. This version. Alright, so from here, what I want to grab, let's grab Restream Chat. Copy. Let's go over into our Just ZBrush, and we're going to say paste. Put that there. URL. Gonna paste that. Okay. So now when chat pops up, we'll have ourselves some chat. Okay, let's make sure that this is. Yeah, it should be good. Why is it streaming? Oh, you know what? I'm using the wrong OBS. Close Windows. Okay, so we want to bring in. I swear, I'm going to get this right. I'm using a new OBS, and so this is kind of fun. So there's the official stuff. I'm trying to make sure that I get it right. Okay, so we're going to say copy. Let's go back down to just ZBrush and we'll say paste a duplicate. Now right here, let's go into properties. Make sure that that's in there. Let's actually check the code too, because I don't want take that to 0. But then the chat opacity, let's turn that to 50. Okay, I'm going to do my best to get this as quick as I can. Done. I don't like it when the most recent is the very bottom one. So let me see if I can fix that really quickly. Settings, default, message alignment, top. Chat background opacity 0, message background to 50. That's better. Okay, copy. Now we got this. Now we got this. Okay. Okay. Cool. Alright. So, now that this is working, just gonna go ahead, turn on the ZBrush, and let's just get popping. Let's just get popping. Okay, so I mean, I've got a lot of things that I want to be able to get done with this. I want this character to look real cool, right? Let's get over to this head. Ooh, not this head. Material. Fill object. I had decided at one point that I wanted to get rid of the tusks that I had on him originally. Just to be able to show you what it is that I had. Uh-oh. Everything's kind of disappearing on me. There we go. Okay, so originally, let's bring in these two because okay, let's tile in proportional, which is fine because okay, let's get the opacity. I learned some really cool things being able to do grids and all of this stuff that I had no idea was here. And just stuff that I get from talking to people that have been with ZBrush for 3 times as long as I have. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. Oh, you know what? Let's actually make these smaller, and we're just going to kind of pack them up here along the top because I realized that you guys can't really see what's down beneath that, so you know, whatever. Okay, so this is where we came from, this is where we are now. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I want to kind of check and see what sorts of anatomy discrepancies I've got. That'll work. Let's make this real big. Out a little bit. Come in and you can start to pick apart the things that you've modeled the things that you've sculpted. Oh, brush, samples, spotlight projection. That's too strong. Be able to find different things that are not quite as strong as they could be or should be. You know what? Let me see. I think try to see if I can find there used to be an option in the Restream app where you could go through and you could figure out, or you could essentially take the moderator and you could change the name. So, you know, for instance, I could rename it as Smartist and it would be good to go as Smartist. You know, I wouldn't have to worry about any kind of funny, you know, I don't know. It was a lot easier. So let me see. So far, that's kind of all right. Let's work on the mask a little bit, because that's something that I would love to be able to get really going. It's a shirt that I never used, scarf I never used, visor glass, mask seal. So right here you can see, like, you know, the clean topology that I developed inside of ZBrush using a combination of things. Okay, using ZModeler to be able to, or not ZModeler, ZRemesher to be able to get the base shape, and then ZModeler to be able to make these embellishments, these this tubing going around, this extra paneling kind of coming in. Got stitches on top of that. It's mask seal Dynamesh. I don't need that. Lion logo. I do need that. Gonna add that part in. Let's see, what else do we have? We got that in here. We got that in here. Cool. Now, the thing about the face mask is that I have this built with booleans. So in order to see it, I've got to turn on this live boolean mode. Now I'm trying to think some of the other things that I have built for this that I'm still trying to decide if I actually like enough to keep. Include this visor glass, okay, which I think is cool. What else do I have? I have a hat, and I have probably get rid of that. Yeah, so there's like this helmet, which I thought was kind of cool. I felt like it kind of tied in with the idea of like this gas mask stuff going on there. I also have this wraparound mask. Not entirely sure what that was. Oh, that's right. I forgot that I had this alternative version. It's been a while since I've really played with it. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, look at that. Those eyes. They be the eyes of death. So what do you think? Those eyes or those eyes? Let me see. Man, I'm trying to think now because there are some pieces that I think I want to work on more, but I'm still not even sure. Got a few. So I've got this mermaid that I did based off of Cory Loftis's design. I've got such a long way to go until she feels good. But there are things that I really want to get done that I'd really like to work on, like the wraps on the arms. The nice thing is that I've got her pretty symmetrical right now. Like if you look at her torso and her arms, those are symmetrical still. And I'm going to keep them like that until I feel like it's not worthwhile enough to keep them like that. Let me see. This other piece down here, where it looks like that's that. Okay. So here's kind of an example of what I would do if I wanted to be able to take these and turn them into nice, you know, like these. These are really nice even polys. To be able to do that with these, ooh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to geometry, not Dynamesh, Z-Remesher. I'll just leave it as it is for right now. Say keep groups. I'm going to hold Alt and hit that Z-Remesher, see what happens. I think my wife might have just gotten home. I think I heard a car door. She went to a dress show tonight, and so just trying to pass the time until she returns. Maybe not. Alright. So far, this is what it's given me, and that's like way too much of the arm. I had no idea that I had that much up there. You know what? Maybe what we do... Let's see if we can find... Not that. See if we can find that other Okay, so here's the other piece that I was looking at a second ago. Let's do the same thing. Okay, I'm just gonna hold Alt and Z remesher. Yeah, look at that. So that got me exactly what I wanted. Okay, super low poly, and I can even lower this more if I wanted to. I don't know that I have to. Starting to get the bombardment of pictures. I told the kids that yeah, that she'd probably send pictures, and she's starting to send them now that the kids are down. Man, I am like, okay, let's hide this piece. This is getting on my nerves. I don't want to have to. Okay, let's go over here, solo mode. You know what? Actually, where are, here they are. Okay, let's merge down. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this will be much nicer. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get things lined up. Okay, let's just do this. Insert. Sometimes it's easier to just do that because I feel like it allows me quick and easy control. Let's get rid of that one. Put one in here. Let's get rid of these. What I'm trying to do is I just want to make sure that these line up. Although the bottom of the hand does need a little bit more definition. Oh well. Okay, let's take this and we're gonna puff it up. And what this allows me to do, the reason I want to puff this up, the reason I want to inflate it, is I want it to keep the form as much as possible when I turn on my dynamic subdivisions. And then I gotta come in here. Actually, one of the other things that I can do, you see that these dark blue ones, they're all keeping their shape. They're keeping their width much better than the light blue ones are at the bottom. So one of the things well, the reason why is that these ones have their border edges creased. Okay, so that makes it so that it just holds, it retains that border edge much nicer. So I'm going to come over to crease, have my crease tolerance up to 180, hit crease, and you'll see that turquoise one got way sharper, you know, went and held that shape much better. It's like I want to sculpt right now, but I don't want to sculpt at the same time. Do you guys ever get that? You know what? Maybe I don't want to sculpt right now. Maybe what I'll do instead, maybe I'll go watch Star Wars. Nobody likes watching Star Wars with me, and now that I'm alone, I should totally just take advantage of it. Okay, let me see. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go Subtool, Project, Project All. Do I want polypaint transferred? No. Whoa, where did they go? That got super tight. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So what I want to do is let's hit extrude all polys. You know what? Before I do that, let's come in here and let's inflate it just a little bit. Okay. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Thanks, Hugo. Good to see somebody on here. It's funny, I didn't think that anybody was actually going to chime in today. Not that it's a big deal. I mean, I didn't really advertise streaming right now. But, you know. Just trying to go. You should have been on here earlier when Ana Carolina and I were testing a co-op stream. It was crazy. It didn't work as well or as easily as we would have liked. We're trying to find a really good, service to be able to do team stream on the Pixelogic channel. And I'm hoping to have her on my channel, or not on my channel, but on my streaming session for Pixelogic next week on Wednesday. It should be fun. It should be fun. I really enjoy talking to her, and she's great, and people like her, and so people don't have to worry about just looking at. Just hearing from me the whole time. They'll actually have somebody fun to talk to. I appreciate it, Royce. Leg cramps are no fun. I remember when I was in the Boy Scouts, and I had a 50-mile bike ride I had to do for a merit badge. My dad went with me. Poor guy. Like partway through, he got this really bad Charlie horse. My mom had to go pick him up. It's like, I make fun of him now. Poor guy. It's always hard. Okay, so this side is not looking as good as this side, so what I'm going to do, I've got to mirror it, and then we got to come over, modify topology, mirror and weld, so that way we can fix that piece that didn't look as good. Okay, I'm going to fix this bottom part down here if it'll let me. Thank you kindly. Okay, let's go take a look at, here's this piece, which will have our remaining little bits down here. I have to bring in the spotlight for this. Not import, let's load spotlight. This way you guys have a little bit of a reference as to what it is that I'm working on. Is there a reset, restore? I guess not. Oh well, let's do this. We're gonna actually, let's make it new. No, I don't want to make it new, because I like having the front side painted off. Okay, whatever. We'll just leave it as it is, and I'll just complain less. Okay, so now that we have this piece ready, let's go ahead. We'll do the same thing. Okay, as we did earlier. We're going to take, oh, we need to delete hidden, because we don't need the rest of that. Those rogue mods. EA Anthem. What game is that, Royce? I'm not sure that I'm familiar with that one. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead, color, fill object, just so we can see what it is that we're working on. Okay, so same thing, Z-remesher. You can see what it is that it looks like right now. When we hit Z-remesher, let's actually bring this down all the way. We don't need to worry about anything else. I'm going to hold Alt, hit Z-remesher, and pretty close to what I want. Hold Alt. It's a little bit closer. I just want to get rid of this end piece right here. Okay, you see that? So I just want to hit delete a single poly. I don't need that to kind of continue around like that. It's just not needed. And then I don't technically need these extra edge loops, so I'm going to come in here and just hold Alt, get rid of those. Okay, let's get rid of some of these too. Get rid of that. Kind of makes me think of Duck Duck Goose. Good reference to make my model. Some good. So you're wanting to look for a good piece of concept art, something that something to use as a good reference for a project, Hugo? Is that what you're looking for? Okay, so what I would do, I mean, you could go to Pinterest and you could find all sorts of stuff that people like, and then you could save things in different files and folders for yourself, and that's really helpful. If you have a specific place where you like to work or a studio that you really admire or whatever, You could look at like concept art from their films. You could look at Goose. Some of the artists that I really enjoy seeing stuff from include like Nico Marley, or let me see, who else? Yeah, it's tricky. So let's see if I can find something good. Let's bring out the goods. I'm going to switch to display capture. Pinterest, because everybody needs a little Pinterest in their life. Okay, let's see. You are more than welcome to coming in and like looking at whatever I have saved. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Pinterest is a great resource, and I love using Pinterest. Shane Glines, super fantastic. One of the things that I like looking for, for me, the Cory Loftis mermaid alligator. She felt powerful. She had character. She had personality, and so that's what helped me want to choose her. Choose that character for this particular project. But there are all sorts of things that you could choose. I like to look for things that have shape and design, things that have movement and motion. Yeah, I like the Google Chrome dark theme. It's helpful to me. I just wish that I could have a dark theme on everything. It just makes it easier on the eyes. So yeah, let me see. All sorts of things. Jessica Oyenhart. Okay, she does awesome stuff. I mean, I love her pieces. These aren't even like her typical type things. I mean, these are just kind of like much more stylized. She has these really cool kind of realistic proportions, but stylized design, sort of pin-ups and illustrations. Very beautiful work. I think she works for Riot. Yeah, she works for Riot. This is one of my favorites that she's done recently. Check that out. So cool and so elegant and beautiful, and the colors, they match really well. It's super neat. Yeah, she's so good at getting these really cool. Yeah, DeviantArt used to be all right, but it's just terrible. I mean, it's a hard site to go to because really it's just sleazy. People just put up whatever they want to up there. One of the things that could be fun to do is finding a sketch, like just a rough sketch. Let me see. What's a good example? Well, I guess a good example could be this one. Let me show you something from my own. Let's go to character. Yeah, right here. So this is one that I did a few years back, 3 years ago. It's weird to think that was so long ago, but I did that based off of this sketch by Martin Abel. And this one's pretty refined, but what I did is I went ahead and I took her and I made her my own. I made her something something different, something more that I liked. And you can do something that's totally the same. You can find a sketch that you like. In fact, maybe I'll just do that. Let's go into You could go into the sketch folder. Let's go boards. Let's come down. Oh, come on. Sketch, sketch, sketch. And what's nice about sketches is that it allows you to have some freedom. Okay, so if I were to pick something like, oh goodness, these are all like too refined. You know, something like this. This is really cool. This is really like detailed. But you know, so the idea is what you could do is find something that's kind of rough and not very well defined, and just use that as a base for an idea, and then take it into being something more refined. Oh, here's another one that I did. You know, so I've got this character that I did. Okay, and she's really cool, and she was based off of this sketch. So, you know, I took this sketch and I used it very heavily for inspiration, and in fact I've still got a lot to learn from this sketch. I still need to go through and figure out how to really make the hair shine in my model, but I was able to take this and I was able to interpret it, give it my own style, give it my own flair, and you know, now she's something that I'm happy to have in my portfolio, you know. So you get all sorts of things like that. Sketches are a really great resource for inspiration and guidance. Let's see, let's take this. Sketch. Ooh, I like the flow in this. This is cool. You see this? It's got this really cool flow to it where she's got this power. So you see this line of action going from the back of her head, down her shoulders, down to her feet. And you could tell that there's power to her because of the way that she's wielding that sword. She's got this massive sword, and she's holding it out away from herself, but she's ready to just totally kick your butt. You know, so finding kind of these rough sketches and well, that's not really rough. It's actually pretty refined, but you know, whatever. Find a sketch that you like, and it's helpful. This is cool. I'm gonna put this in my character design box. Real fun, guys. But yeah, really cool. Even something like this is kind of vague. Okay, there's a lot going on there, but it's still pretty vague. So a lot of stuff to kind of think about. So you're gonna make the character, and your friend is going to animate. Okay. That might be an instance where you might want to go through and design your own. I feel like this isn't working as well as it was for a little while there. This is cool. Sorry, I'm getting like way off track. But this isn't a zebra stream. Woohoo! So yeah, that's essentially what I would do is maybe find something that inspires you. So you know, you come into like a board and you think about, okay, well, maybe I really like the way this Deadpool looks. I don't really like Deadpool, but I kind of like how this character design turned out of him. It's an idea of going through and taking that and thinking, okay, so how can I make it my own character? How can I use the proportions or the shapes and turn it into something that's useful to me? Or, you know, taking something like, you know, here are these images of Mandy from oh my goodness, Ding Eagle. Okay, and seeing like, okay, these shapes are fantastic. Okay, the way that the body is shaped and everything like that. So what can I do to be able to do something similar? You know, you think about different things that you see, different principles that you can learn from whatever it is that you're seeing, be able to translate that into your own thing. Si bras, si bouton. This is the brass, this is the bouton, this is the... Problem when I design on my own is that feeling that it's not good. I'm never going to finish. At the beginning the design, at the end the design became a mess. And sometimes it can be really tricky. There's a lot to learn though from creating your own designs. I'm trying to think now if there's anything that the most recent thing that I've got that I can kind of pull up. Let's go Faunabots, FishBot. Okay, this isn't nearly the finished version of it, but I mean this is kind of just something that stemmed from an idea, and it's one of those things that when you are designing for yourself, it is a little bit trickier because you do have to think about what you see in other things and then bring in what you like. But yeah, if you're picking something that's a design from somebody else, if it's for, well, I mean, guess what is it for? Is it for school project? Is it for work? Is it something that you're hoping to be able to share, to sell, to put in your portfolio? What is the purpose of the project? If you don't mind me asking. It's funny because like there isn't any real articulation there, Royce. It's just kind of faked for right now. Personal project. Okay, so this is great. So the thing that you can go through and do is that if you do find a piece that you like, you know, something that you enjoy, something that you feel like you could build in 3D, that's where I would go through and I would reach out and contact the person that designed it, and then you could go ahead and ask their permission to use the design. Don't get intimidated by it. My students always get intimidated when they have to go and ask permission for to be able to use a concept. They're just like, what do I say? And what if they say no? It's like, if they say no, and find a different piece. I don't know. But you know, it's one of those things that a lot of people, most people, are really excited to see somebody taking interest in what they made. all artists are the same way. Nobody's going to go through and say, you're dumb. You know, I mean, everybody wants, not everybody, most artists want to see other artists thrive and do really well. So I feel like, you know, yeah, I mean, that if you have a concept that you're interested in, chances are they'll be excited to see you work on it. You know, so no harm in asking. You know what? I want this to go down there. I want this to come over here. I want this to come clear over here. Ooh. Big message from Royce. Hugo Leon. Hugo. I encourage you to look for costume and characters in places there aren't any. Look at classic car motors, for instance. Imagine the parts are cloth or leather. Look at gadgets taken apart on Google Images. That has helped me to come up with some sweet shape designs. Ooh, okay, so here's an idea of something. What's it called? Cup o noodle. No, cup o doodle. Okay, this is a fun blog. And I bet that if you were to go through here and find a design that you like, and I don't know how far back you'd have to go, but there are some people that participate in this blog that are phenomenal. This blog has been, Don Flores, he is awesome. He's a big time designer. What they do is they take these shapes and they use it as a base for their sketch, for their design. Okay, really, really simple exercise, but really effective. It's one of those things that I discovered in school, and it helped me a ton in learning how to do character design. Look at how they use that shape. Okay, they just use it however it inspires them. Look at this guy. This is kind of funny, like a weird, silly cat thug thing. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. But yeah, I used to dream of the day that I would get to participate on this blog, and it was always just a matter of me doing my own thing. Yeah. Yeah, Cup-a-Doodles. Super fantastic blog. Okay, now we're starting to branch over into doodles that I recognize. So these ones are a little bit older, but the older ones are really kind of where I found the most inspiration from. So you could look at these, and then you could reach out to the artists, because they all have their names down at the bottom, or their blogs and information down underneath. So you could reach out to these people, or somebody like that, you know, wherever it is that you find your concept. Reach out to them and say, hey, I super love this, and I was curious if you would mind me modeling it for my portfolio. You know, a friend and I want to model it and animate it, and We're curious if you would be alright with that. I love that Daredevil. So cool. That car. It's so funny what people are inspired to create from such simple shapes. So cool. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, super neat. Super neat. Okay, anyway, on that note, jump back into ZBrush, I guess. Let's slide points. Actually, it's something like that. Okay, so for right now, I'm just trying to figure out kind of a cool, you know, keeping things centered, keeping things unified, so that when I go in and try to make like smooth it out and things like that, it'll help to keep the shape and keep it uniform. Yeah, I can't wait to see that movie. Did you like it, Into the Spider-Verse? Yeah, it boggled my mind too. I mean, that was something else. That is so cool. You know what? I can do this and this. I can insert here, insert here, insert here. And now I can slide this up. I hope it wins Oscars, man. I hope it wins. I hope it wins all the things. You know what? Okay, so here's what I want to do. Let's kind of take it and move it out. Yeah, I mean what you're saying, Hugo, that's exactly what everybody else seems to be thinking about it. It's just that it's just so good, it's just not explicable, you know, and it's just so many cool animation styles, and yeah, I just can't wait to see it, dude. I can't wait to see it. It's one of those things though, like I don't really ever get to go and see movies in the theater. I really only ever get to go and see movies in the theater every so often. Like, I mean, so I worked on How to Train Your Dragon, but I don't know that I'll get to go see it in the theater or not. I might make an exception because, I mean, I worked on the movie, for Pete's sake. And I mean, it's coming out in theaters here in a week or two. So, I mean, that's exciting. Oops. You can't buy the art book in your country? What country are you in, Hugo? Mortal Engines. That's one I remember seeing some sort of either preview or some sort of video about it, but I can't remember. I can't remember where I would have seen that. But I seem to remember thinking that it looked really, really cool. Oh, I remember where it was now. It was in Brazil. So have you tried looking on like Amazon or anything like that? Yeah, it probably is a little bit expensive. That's right. That's right. Mortal Engines. Okay, yeah. So Adam Savage from Tested, well, from Mythbusters, but from Tested, he did a build recently from the movie. It was one of the main characters' pistols. Super cool. He got some really cool effects out of it. It was one of his. He does these one-day builds. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it was so cool. I love watching and listening to Adam Savage as he does stuff. I like listening to a lot of science-related channels on YouTube. Like there's Smarter Every Day, or there's Mark Rober, or things like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, shipping is killer. Man. Of course, I mean I can't remember what it's like shipping international really a whole lot, because well, what it was like shipping from South America. I used to live in Chile, and I can't remember what shipping was like there, or even if I had to do it at all. Okay, just to make sure that these are the same, I'm going to make sure that they're different poly groups. I know that I want to keep the pink one. Okay, this one over here on this left fin. So modified topology, mirror and weld. Okay, perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so now that I have that, I can use my move tool, hold control, and move that down. Yeah. And we're just going to try to move this into position, turn off perspective. I don't need perspective right now. Ah, you'll have to send me the link, Royce. Mythbusters and Ghostbusters. It's like, who even thinks about these things? Some of the things that people come up with, it's just funny. It's just so stinking funny. Okay, starting to get into a good position. And let's actually get rid of some of these intermediate edge loops, just because I don't want to have to control them. And then, yeah, same thing with these. We'll just get rid of them. You have to see this movie, man. One thing that really this movie is good is how they break your expectation and delivery. Another thing. You know what? Let's look it up. There was a network error. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's try this one.
The Ghostbusters! The Mythbusters! Bring it!
Are you tired of two geeks and mustaches
who can manage to be boring with explosions and crashes?
If you or the Lorax want to bust like we do, give us a call.
We're ready to defeat you. Ghostbusters, flow crushers, get the job done. Spitting out the lyrics like we got one. Get the people moving like the Statue of Liberty.
Try to beat us in a battle? Man, you gotta be kidding me.
The delivery of stand straight like my main man Slinky.
I collect spores.
Tell them about the twink.
Like your show, it's all fluff and filler. I'll kick your hiney, man. I'm a savage killer.
Wow, your raps are just too whack to handle.
Let's do it like we do on the Discovery Channel.
Your science is preposterous, the opposite of competent processing. In this episode, we'll give you a synopsis. Starting with the vacuum cleaner strapped up on your back. It's a fact, positrons don't react like that. You built a laser grate with no safety switch, and Mother Peck was right, that's some shady shit.
Good thing you work in a firehouse.
Cause you just got burned.
You are poor scientist.
That's good burn.
That's enough from the walrus and Dickless the clown.
Let's show these myth bitches how we do it downtown. Are you sick?
Ho!
Eat 'em up!
Smoke it! High speed shows your ass get beat in slow motion. We roast show host when our flow cross streams.
Pumping out blockbusters.
While you work behind the scenes.
It's a rap test, dummy.
And you're both getting crashed.
We came, we saw, we kicked your ass.
Ghosts aren't real.
But it should be said.
It's time to bring the B-team back from the dead.
Hey, things are getting scary when Cory and Curry come harder than Ray when that ghost popped his cherry.
We reject your flow and substitute our own.
Why'd you stop?
I couldn't think of a rhyme. Well, just say the first thing that pops into your mind.
Your wings up, stay pop, stay off. Blaze comes and flip carry, but I side up. I smell the Ghostbusters and flop another one, don't play. Show these dweebs how to rock a beret. I live so large you can't harsh my mellow. Just one step took me out the ghetto. You best be afraid of my marshmallow blows. This big pump just turned all you bitches to toes. Whoa, whoa, who's there? You decide. Alright.
Oh my gosh. It was worth the watch. Hopefully the sound wasn't too buggy coming through the stream. My dad, something that he really just enjoyed, and it's funny every once in a while, like, it's hard to find something that my mom will be into, but she liked it and she thought it was really fun. Okay, here's one of the things I want to be able to do. I want to be able to see the ones that I have on the other side while I'm working on this side. So I'm going to come down here to display properties, hit double. Okay, so now I can see both sides of the mesh, even though it's only a single-sided piece of geometry. So it's helpful. It's helpful, helpful, helpful. Okay. You know what? I probably ought to go and check on the laundry. I didn't even think about that. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a dryer. And so we've been going to my parents-in-law's house to be able to go and do the laundry. And it's just been so long since we've had that dryer that I'm just not even used to doing the laundry anymore. Man, I wish that I had a direct line to Joseph Drust. One of the things that I would really like to know right now is how I use the what's it called? There should be a function where you go through and you hold Alt. Oh yeah. Nope. I got it. Never mind. I don't. Sorry if you guys can hear the train. I can hear the train too. That one with the old man with the rat costume. Oh, okay. World of Beekman. Yeah, I'm allergic to the trains. It's a terrible thing. Living this close to a railroad. Oh. It's okay. We live in simpler times now. Think of how bad it would have been had we been on the transcontinental. No, actually, where I grew up, there was just a small train. It's called the Heber Creeper, and I mean, it didn't do much, but it was a train, and everybody loved it. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do first. So right now they're all the same polygroup. I want to make the back ones a different polygroup, so we're just going to go ahead and polygroup the island. That way they're different. And now we can go ahead and we can say extrude all polygons. And instead of extruding out forward, I'm going to extrude it backward. Okay. I want to make sure that I extrude just a little bit. Just enough to make sure that it has thickness. The reason why is that those veins in the fins, they aren't very thick. So I'm hoping to be able to preserve that. Make it look like something that's being suspended between all the little veins. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. So, the big thing that I wanted to do tonight, and I totally spaced it, I remembered now. Yeah, so I do work on a laptop. Let me show you actually. This is what I have as my setup. So I've got my laptop right here, and it's really pretty good. And you can see it's got the GeForce GTX is actually, let me see if it'll actually focus in, maybe. It's a 1080 GTX graphics card with a Core i7 7th generation Intel processor, and I have 32 gigs of RAM. So it's a pretty decent machine. It's not quite what I wanted, but it offers me a lot, since I get a lot of processing power, plus I get the mobility functionality. Oh, you know what? I gotta go through. Okay, so that gave me a quick save. Let's go ahead and make sure that we got this saved. Replace it, yes, please. Okay, let me see. So the thing that I wanted to do, let me see, just to make sure that I have everything saved out. I still can't decide if I like the, let's actually get rid of some of these things. Can't decide if I like the or I guess which eyes I liked better. Okay, let's come up here. We'll just say, we'll select the head. What is that? There we go. Turn that off. Okay, so we're going to select the eyes. I don't know if you guys want to weigh in or whatever, but dual graphics is glitchy. That's good to know. So the eyes, with it being darker, more solid, I feel like he definitely feels more alive, versus with this he doesn't even feel complete. I'll leave him with these. I think that feels nicer, and maybe at some point I can go in and I can figure out what it would look like, or how I would use the kind of cataract sort of eyes. Cataract. Because he's a cat. Anyway, gotta make sure that I save out. I think I have this in my portfolio pieces, right? Yeah, lion tooth. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Replace that. Replace that cool cat. And then I didn't do a ton on her, but yeah. So the brand for my machine, it's an Acer Predator. It's a really, really great machine, and it's, I mean, it was pricey. It was definitely an investment, but it wasn't so expensive that it didn't feel like a good investment. Now, if you were to ask my wife, you know, she probably would not agree with that, but you know what? I want to get those shoulder scales. And I want to go color, fill object. For real? Huh, let's see, let's try this again. It's going to come over here. This is a way that you can kind of click and drag to be able to select your materials. Bump viewer, that's not what I want then. Okay. Let's use this basic material just because that should work just fine. MRGB, because now I have my color and I have my material, so I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to say color fill object. That's not quite the look that I want. That's way too dark. If you hit C when you're hovering over something, that'll color pick for you. Okay, so I like that material. I'll keep that material. I still think that that's too light, too dark though. So here's what I'm going to do: is I'm going to color pick this. Actually, let's just see what it looks like. Yeah, that looks good. Sometimes the different materials, because this is dark, and the skin is actually the skin material. No, so my machine was only $2,000. It doesn't have a whole lot of onboard storage. It has one like 500 gig, like a 512 gig hard drive. And it doesn't have anything else, so it only has the C drive. The way that I save my stuff is to an external drive, an external hard drive, which is then synced to Dropbox. So, you know, kind of keeping my bases covered. Man, I'm glad I took a little bit of time to be able to work on this gal, though. Let me see. Ooh, okay, so here's what we got to do. No, actually, I just bought it. I got it for Christmas. So, yeah, so it's becoming normal. So yeah, it is a pretty good deal. I really liked it. I really like it. Okay, so if I want to be able to color pick from my spotlight image, like for instance, I have the color for the arm wraps. I want to go through and I can hit Z as if I'm about to modify my my image, and then I can hover over a part of it and hit C, and you'll see my color changes. Okay, so now I can go ahead and take that. Let's go over to skin shade, and we're going to say color fill object. Okay, and before we leave this, Shift Z. Okay, why isn't that staying the color I wanted? Why isn't, you know what, I bet, samples, why isn't that working then? Okay, I'm going to change to this. Okay, so that's working. Let's get back to the basic material 2. Okay, so now I can tell that this is at least having an effect. but I don't know what was causing that. Hopefully it doesn't do it again, because that's just not fun. Okay, it kept the color. Okay, so Shift Z. Okay, Z. Gonna color pick that. Sweet, it stayed. Okay, now let's get rid of it. Just for the sake of making absolutely sure that it's taking the color. I don't know what's going on lately, that this is just not wanting to take all the color that I'm trying to suggest it take. At some point when I go through and I add more resolution to those pieces, I can go through and kind of refine how it's interacting with the surface. Actually, so my machine, the monitor that I have is just a 1080p monitor. I wish I had the processing power to be able to handle a 4K monitor, although I don't feel like I really need it. It's not a huge deal to me. If I were doing a lot of painting, then that would be a bigger deal, but you know, it's not that big of a deal to me. Or if I were doing a lot of 4K video editing, yeah, a 1060 though. Royce 1060 is not bad. The one that I had before this, I actually still have it, but the one that I had before this, it's a 960M, which is, it's really not a super fantastic machine. Okay, I wonder if this is keeping the color, because it wasn't keeping the color earlier. The scales along the back aren't keeping the color. Yeah, oh, it's just, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so now that we have this, that axe handle, you see how short that axe handle is? Ooh, that needs to be lengthened out a ton. Wow. That'll be something that I'll have to so the nice thing, this monitor's it's decent in dimension, you know, it's pretty big, and so I'm able to go up and modify the way that my UI is displayed. So I can come up here to preferences. Let me see, is it config? No, it's not config. Where is it at? Is it performance? It's not performance. We're gonna find this. We're gonna find this. Marker, mem, tablet, edit, transpose, gizmo, geometry, miscellaneous, undo history, quick save, utilities. Oh my goodness, I mean, it wasn't even long ago that I used it too. Interface. Not navigation, UI, it's this top one, here we go. So preferences, interface, UI. There we go. And so this button size, you can take it all the way down, and you can have wide buttons, or whatever. So the thing that happens is that you go through and you modify this, and then I would come up, I would say config, store config, and then I would go over and I would exit out of ZBrush and bring it back open. Things like that won't actually show until after you've restarted ZBrush. Okay, here we go. Take this. Trying to look at my reference a little bit because I'm like way off. The axe doesn't feel nearly as substantial as it should. Okay, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to take this, move it forward. And I'm going to take this and move it back quite a bit. Something like that, maybe. So let's come down here, let's figure this out. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to take this, let's say bent curve. We got to change our direction. Okay, so instead of being in the X direction, I want it to be in the Z direction. Okay. And now essentially what I can do is I can come over here, move. And you know what? I have this extra thorn right here. It's kind of going through her hand, and I really dude, thanks for stopping by, Hugo. It was good to have you around. So, you know, good night. Sleep tight. I hope you get the sleep you need for your day ahead. Saturday is always fun. Okay, so I want to get this out of her hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over to my resolution. I'm just going to boost it up. Just add in one extra little nub. And then just kind of pull it along. If I wanted to, just add another couple extra. This way we can also modify how this thing curves. Really, and what's cool, we can also come in and say, you know, I want it to scale it up or down. I can, let me see, what's this one? That one's like doing some sort of scale thing too. This one does some sort of twist. Okay, so it's useful. It's really, really useful. Okay. Just kind of give it a little bit more character. But now once we're done with that, we can come over here to the gear and we can say accept. Now it looks so much better. Turn on our pizza box. And let's just scoot it forward. Oh shoot. Let's go to this piece. Just scoot it forward ever so slightly. Actually, let's turn off the pizza boxes just because it makes it easier for the future. Man, I'm getting tired too. Hugo had the right idea. Okay, what am I looking for? I am looking for... Let's hit save. That's what I wanted. The piece that goes over the thumb. Not that. Should be this piece, I believe. Okay, let's turn it on so I don't have to worry about losing it. Okay. This is one where I'm going to want to make sure that I definitely have a center line in there, because there is so much roundness to the profile of this shape. It's like, bleh. Able to stop by and hang out for a while. Yeah, I mean, hopefully get to swing by later. I should hopefully be able to stream with Ana Carolina coming up soon, so we'll see. We'll see. So have a good night, and don't let the caterpillars bite anything. Cheers, dude. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Magnesium lotion. No insect wants that. Yep, probably true. Probably true. You know what? I'm definitely gonna have to work on those hands. There's just no way around those hands. Man. Not a whole lot going on tonight, huh? Let me see. So cool. So we got these thorns up here. So we're just going to use those. So we got to get some onto the back of our model. Sweet. Sometimes I feel like the reference is great, but it just gets in the way. Okay, you know what I need to do? I'm going to modify a brush. It's the Insert Primitives brush. There are a lot of these meshes that I'm never going to use, like this Insert Cubes brush. I don't ever use that. So I'm just going to come over here. Let's dock our brush menu. Delete the mesh. Insert cylinder. I only need one, and it's this one that's the second one in here, this no edges one. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of this one too. Okay, the pipe, yeah, I'll keep it. It could be helpful. This one isn't helpful for much, but it's useful for doing things with booleans, so I'll keep it. Insert sphere. This one's nicer. I'll keep both of those, and I'll keep this one. These other ones don't really matter to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and say delete, delete, delete. Oh, and I just got rid of that pill. Oh well. Not a big deal. It's just an extended sphere. So, what I want to do, okay, I want to add to this. There are some shapes that I don't have in here that I would really, really like to have. So let me refresh that so that we have just the basic. We're going to go to Ring 3D, okay. The nice thing about this is that it's not a 3D mesh yet, okay. So this is something that I want to be able to go through and do, is I want to take this and I want to, my hand feels like it's not wanting to be comfortable. In fact, let's change this to my startup material, okay, so we can see those edges much more clearly. Okay, so what I can do is I can come down to initialize, and I want to start off with numlock. Oh, I guess the radius isn't what I was looking for. Sorry, it's let's put 25. Coverage, you want that to be all the way up to 360, okay? Or I do anyway. Scale, no twist. Okay, the divide, this is what I want to set down to like 8. Okay, set that down to 8. The L divide going around the outside, yeah, 25 looks good. Okay, let's make our radius bigger actually. Let's take this up to like 50. Okay, something useful. Okay, this will be a phenomenally useful piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say make polymesh 3D. Okay, and now I can come over here, create insert mesh, and append. Oh, you know what? Let's change this name to just Ring 3D. So we're gonna hit delete mesh, rename, just Ring 3D, create, append, skip note until next start. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so now we got a Ring 3D. What's the other shape that I was thinking of that I might want? A cone. I want a cone. Okay, so what I want to do, let's go about this nice easy way. Ooh, and you know what? Let's come over here, and instead of having it just be like this, let's turn it to instead of 8, let's make it a 4. Okay, let's take the twist to 45. Oh, sorry. 0 twist. There we go. This is what I wanted. 45. Okay, just so that I have a simple ring. Okay. And then maybe the L divide, I'll take this down to like 15 or something. something smaller. Okay. Ring 3D simple. Same thing. Create insert mesh, append. Okay, so now we've got that, and we've got the ring 3D. Okay, the other thing I wanted to do was make a cone. Okay, so we're going to use this to make... Oh, tell me I didn't. I did. But it's working. Sweet. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead, C modeler, delete polyloop. Okay, and then we can collapse this hole. Okay, collapse that, collapse that. Okay, and then I can just drag this out. Okay, so now this will become, let's say, collapse edge. Let's make it so that it's not quite as poly heavy. I'm going to have to actually do something more like this. Let's make sure that we have, because the sides going around were odd, and so let's take it down to 8. Okay, because that'll be doable for me. Make polymesh 3D. Same things. Delete polyloop, polyloop. Now we can collapse edge loop. Oh, not edge. The hole. Collapse that hole. Okay, now I can raise this up, make it something usable. Okay, now we've got this cone that we can go ahead and we can add. Okay, let's go ahead and say, oh, you know what? Forgot to name it. Cone simple. Cool. Is there anything else that I wanted to add to this? I don't think so. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and create an icon. Okay, so now I can come over here and under brush I can say select icon, hold Alt. Oh. Why isn't it letting me? Save as. Let's try saving as, because maybe it's just a matter of brush presets must have I am in primitives. Okay. It's interesting to me that it's not letting me use the document like that. Oh well. I think it'll be enough for me to just let it be a cube. I'm actually curious if I were to go over. Shoot, that's not what I wanted. The IMM primitives H. This is a really nice preview, but it's not my preview. I don't know. Let's just save it out. It's not a big deal. Okay, so save document. Sorry, export. I do know what I'm talking about. And actually, let's take the document and let's make sure that it has the black background. Okay, now we can go ahead and we can export it. I am in primitives. Just do that. Now we can select icon and we can come in here and select that, and now we have our nice little icon. And now we can replace it. Cool. There we go. So just in case you're wondering, so I could probably make this available for free if anybody actually wanted it. Not a big deal. But to me it's useful. And that's how you go through and modify brushes. So something like this, and being able to have a cone that you can just quickly draw and drag out, or having rings that you can drag and draw out. This sort of thing is just really, really helpful to me. So coming over to my character, let's go back and change the document back to the color that I have it at. The thing that I want to do is I want to have this ring 3D. I want to be able to draw it out. Okay. I need it to be about that big around diameter wise, but I need it to be a lot less thick. So this is where we're going to go deformation and deflate. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Okay, so now I'm trying to think. I gotta get it in position. You know what, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit thicker could actually be beneficial to it. You know, I'm just thinking about what it's used for. And now, because I already have one drawn out, I can just kind of hold control. And we'll just use what we've already got to be able to make the ring that hooks the ring. Try doing something like that. What's nice about these is that because I went through and made it so low poly, I can come in very easily and I can say, you know, get rid of edge loops that I don't like. And if it finishes saving sometime in the next century, you know what, I think I want to get rid of this loop in here in the inside too. And then we can go ahead and we can say crease edge loop partial. One, two, three, four. So that feels cooler now. I do want this to feel a little bit more angled, because it feels like it is in here. So that, and I want it to feel a little less perfect. So here's our opportunity to kind of go through and just kind of mess it up. Let's change our dynamic subdivisions down to yeah, let's keep it at 2. But then I want the crease tolerance to be down to 1. So watch this. So right now the crease looks really, really crisp. So if I uncrease, or if I undynamic subdiv and then I redo it, it's going to hold that shape but not as crisp as it was before. So this is really, really helpful to me in previewing my shapes and previewing my meshes. Okay, in the drawing, this is really quite round. I can't afford to keep it that round in the sculpts, just because of aesthetic needs and things like that. So there we go. It's starting to be so much cooler. Let's get this piece. Let's actually combine it in with the piece above it. Arm wraps, merge down. All right. I actually don't know that I like that material for it, but you know, we'll play with it for now. We'll let it be. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change our select rectangle to select lasso, and using the same technique of holding Control Shift, we're just going to go ahead and Select like that. Oh, come on. It's interesting to me that it won't let me keep my previously made hidings hidden. So we're just gonna have to do this a little bit more the long way. Let's see what else we missed. Okay, let's turn on solo just for the sake of being able to. Wow, skipped frames. Hopefully that's not being too much of a pain. It was being a pain earlier. I don't want it to be quite as yellow, so we're gonna RGB color. Just trying to be really careful not to hit edge loops because I know that that'll do something slightly different for me than I'd like. Oh, you know what? I actually do want those visible. I don't want the crystals of it visible. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's hit Z, C. Okay, now let's go ahead and fill that object. That's too brown. See. Let's actually make sure that these are the same. Kind of like the idea of having it split in polygroups for material, deciding material and color and things like that. Let's go back to this. Okay. It might be a matter of just doing that. So let's stay. Cool. That looks so much nicer. Okay, let me see. Okay, make that so that that's all the same color. Oh, you have no idea how good that feels to have finally gotten some progress on her. Oh my goodness. I gotta Instagram this. Yeah. Not that it's anything super exciting, but it's, you know, to me it is. Man. Decided to have some fun and stream a little bit. Made a little bit of progress on her. Mostly with the axe and the arm wraps. Having fun. needed food. So I went downstairs and cooked some chicken nuggets while I put some clothes into the dryer. I'll have to go through and do a sculpting pass on all of this, just to make sure that it's getting just the treatment that it deserves or needs in order to be, truly successful and whatnot. Let's go ahead and say mask peaks and valleys. Okay, let's go ahead, let's use this. Kind of just go in and kind of paint this in some. Let's do something like this. Let's kind of paint in around here. Kind of like this. Oh, it sounds like my wife might finally be home. Coming over here. This is where I want. Okay. It's definitely helping. Cool. We're gonna call it good. Doesn't seem like anybody's watching right now anyway, so. thanks to anybody who tuned in and was watching and had fun. And see you around the next time. Peace.